Have you ever felt invisible? Like you're right there, but no one's really seeing you? Well, today we're diving into two incredible stories about what happens when being overlooked isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning of a massive transformation. It's a tough question, right? To feel like you're the main character in your own head, but you're just a footnote in your family's narrative. For two women, Samantha and Isabel, this wasn't just some hypothetical question. This was the spark that lit the fuse.
I mean, can you imagine hearing that from your own mother 3 weeks before your sister's wedding in Maui? For Samantha, this was it. And you just know, right? This wasn't some simple mistake. This was the final straw after a lifetime of being the reliable one, the quiet one, the one it was okay to forget.
And for Isabel, the moment was just as cold, delivered in this short 8-word text. Another holiday, another big family thing, all centered around her golden child sister. No room for her. Two completely different families, but man, the message was exactly the same. You're not essential here. So what's the move? What do you do when you're written out of the story? Well, the answer is kind of the whole playbook we're about to unpack. You stop waiting for someone to hand you a script, you pick up the pen, and you write a brand new one. All right, so let's dig into that breaking point, because this is about so much more than a missed flight or a skipped brunch. It's about that exact moment when a lifetime of just quietly taking it finally shatters. And this dynamic, I think a lot of you are going to recognize this. In both of their families, you had a son, the golden child, like Jessica and Venus, and everyone else just kind of orbited around them. Their successes were the family's successes. And then you had the forgotten child, Samantha and Isabel. Always there, quietly reliable, but their own achievements, mostly overlooked. They were basically praised for not causing any trouble. And here's the really crucial part. Their whole identity was shaped by what they weren't. Isabel was just Venus's sister. Samantha was, well, not her sister. This feeling of being invisible wasn't a one-time thing. It was just the air they breathed every single day.
But here's where it gets good. Because instead of shrinking or just fading away, both of these women did the exact opposite. They took all that neglect and turned it into fuel to build entire new worlds for themselves, far, far away from that family orbit.
Get this. The very next day after her family forgot her plane ticket, Samantha didn't just sit there and get mad. Nope, she took a 1-year leave from her job, turned off her phone, and got on a plane to Tokyo. She just left and started a journey that would change everything. Meanwhile, Isabel, the one who was told her dreams of going to Stanford were, quote, inconvenient, she just poured all of that energy into her work. While her family was celebrating her sister's every move, Isabel was quietly building a company called MedChain, a company that got so critical during the pandemic that it was bought for a mind-blowing $120 million. And Samantha's reinvention? We're not talking small time here. That 1 year away turned into a whole new life. She built a consulting business from her laptop that ended up operating across 4 continents, from Asia to Europe to the Americas. With her success, Isabel didn't buy some flashy sports car. She bought a sanctuary, a $6 million vineyard in Napa. And this wasn't to show off. This was her creating a physical space, a real place to put down roots that were 100% hers. Okay, so being successful on your own is one thing, but what happens when that success gets so big, it's impossible to ignore? This isn't about them trying to go back to the way things were, not at all. This is about them revealing a whole new reality, completely on their own terms. Samantha's return was, honestly, a masterclass in strategy. After 8 months of complete silence, she didn't call home. Oh no, she updated her LinkedIn profile. And that post, announcing her huge new job with her old company's biggest competitor, it apparently detonated in her family's world. By the time she finally came back to Denver, she wasn't the forgotten daughter. She was a regional director. Isabel's comeback, though, was something else entirely. It was this beautiful act of radical inclusion. After getting cut from her family's Easter, she didn't just get sad. She used her beautiful Napa Vineyard to host her own Easter brunch. And she invited every single relative who'd also been kind of pushed to the side over the years. She didn't just build a new table, she built a bigger, better one. So you can probably guess what happens next, right? All this new power, this new confidence, it's going to lead to a confrontation. But here's the difference. For the very first time, Samantha and Isabel weren't coming from a place of hurt. They were coming from a place of just unshakable self-worth. So after Isabel posts these beautiful, joyful photos of her brunch online, What's the first thing she gets from her mom? This text. Right away, the old story kicks in. Oh, Isabel must be trying to compete with her sister.
But Isabel's response, just wow, so calm, so powerful. She completely reframes it. This isn't about competition. It's about creation. It's not about taking away. It's about adding more. It just totally dismantled her mother's whole argument.
At the same time, you've got Samantha on this super tense phone call with her sister Jessica. And in her defense, Jessica drops this classic line, trying to smooth things over, trying to rewrite history. But the old Samantha is gone. She doesn't let it slide. Instead, she comes back with this simple, quiet question that just stops everything cold. And the silence on the other end of the phone? That was the only answer she needed. Total checkmate.
So where does all this end up? Well, it leads to the final and, honestly, the most important step in this whole playbook, reclaiming your own narrative. It's not just about getting successful. It's about finally owning your own story. You know what these women did? There's a name for it. It's called emotional alchemy. It's this idea that you don't just put up with the pain of being forgotten. You transform it. You take that lead of neglect and you turn it into the gold of independence and true self-worth. So the new normal for them? For Samantha, her rise was just incredible. VP, then a board member, strategically outplaying her old company at every turn. For Isabel, she created a new, honest relationship with her family, but it was on her terms now. And for both of them, the real victory wasn't revenge. It was the peace and joy they found in what they had built for themselves.
So, we're going to end with a spin on the question we started with. What happens when you stop waiting for a seat and you just decide to build your own table? Well, you don't just create a place for yourself, you create an entire world where your value is never, ever up for debate.